What's going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to another podcast episode in your Perseverance Under Pressure podcast. So today we are going to be talking about resentment. All right, the good old resentment feeling, which according to definition, resentment is a combination of emotions combining anger, bitterness, and indignation, which is triggered by feeling treated unfairly or wronged. Now, a lot of the times resentment does involve living in the past. It involves holding on to things that have happened that you did not like or felt were not fair. And in the long term scheme of things, you've held on to those emotions. You've become more angry, you've become more bitter, and potentially more jealous in the long run of holding on to something that happened that didn't go the way you wanted it to or the way you thought it should, and you're still suffering from it. So in order to move through resentment, we have to first learn about surrender. We have to first become aware that you are in fact holding on to anger, bitterness, indignation, jealousy, and this becomes resentment over time as these combination of emotions and feelings kind of swirl into one. And then we have resentment. So you see this a lot in relationships. People begin to resent each other. You see this a lot in business. Somebody gets a raise, somebody gets ahead, and you think that they didn't deserve it or that you were more deserving of the promotion or the raise. And so I had to learn this my own self, just like we all do. And one of the biggest things that helped me move through this was understanding from the Buddhist mindset that everything is happening for you, not to you. So allowing yourself to surrender and move through resentment phases is about literally understanding how you choose to perceive through your mindset. Is the world happening to you? Or is the world providing you experiences and situations for you, for your tests, for your lessons? And so one of the biggest things that I had to go through was, actually I have quite a few, but I'm going to bring you back to professional wrestling. Because the wrestling world, like I said in some of these other episodes, has taught me so much about life. The experiences in the entertainment industry, just so much overwhelming information and wisdom that can come from these experiences. And I share them with you because not a lot of people have been in the entertainment industry or a professional wrestler or at that level of getting to a top tier promotion or, whatever it is in acting or athletics, which is a different reality. It's a different world. So one of the biggest things that I had to learn was, as I was busting my ass and I was doing photo shoots and recording my matches and trying to contact the office, is I had a lot of guys that I was wrestling with who were getting called up and booked as extra workers for WWE or TNA at the time. And after a couple times of them getting booked and me not getting booked, I was starting to get resentful, and I was starting to get annoyed, and I was starting to get angry, and I was starting to get really confused because I didn't know what I needed to do. Because in the wrestling world, I felt, maybe it wasn't true, but I felt at the time, I'm as good as these other guys. We're on the same shows. I've worked with these other guys before. How come they're getting the opportunity and I'm not getting the opportunity? What am I missing? And I started to resent them. I started to play the victim of why is this happening to me? You know, I keep hitting my head. I can't get above this. How come this guy's getting this? Why is this guy getting that? And I didn't like the way that felt. It provided fuel for a little bit. It really helped me hone in and focus a lot more on doing my promos, a lot more on getting more developed into my character. But the wrestling component was like, well, I feel like I'm as good. And it wasn't until my entire life, my ex-girlfriend Jillian at the time, we split. I had to move out. I lost my personal training job working for Equinox, and I had nothing. I had my life stripped from me for the first real time. And we may have talked about this in another episode, but it was only in that moment when I was ready to be done with wrestling. I was no longer at the point where I cared. It was like, well, I'm tired of playing the game. I'm tired of trying to impress an invisible person that I have no idea who they are, send my stuff to the office. Maybe somebody's seeing it, maybe somebody's not seeing it. And I didn't like to play suck up. So I can't tell you that that's what these other guys did because I don't know. But I didn't want to suck up. I wanted to be picked because I was being picked. And then I had resentment for my girlfriend because she took my life. She took my home that I was living with her, and it felt like my whole world was falling apart. And then I was like, I'm just done. I'm done with wrestling. I'm tired of beating up my body on the weekends. I'm tired of watching these other guys get booked. I'm just tired, right? I'm just tired of it. And it was in that moment that when I let go of truly caring, that it all started to fall into place. I let go of the resentment, and I started to say, you know what, good for that guy. He worked hard too. Good for him. I'd love to be there, but if I can't be there, I'm glad somebody that I know is getting there. And to this day, some of the guys that I've worked with, some of the top guys, Mike Bennett, Mike Kanellis, he was one of the guys I started with back in the day, Miracle Mikey B, and Tommaso Ciampa, who's been WWE and now AEW, Handsome Johnny, who is Ivan the Viking. He's been there for years now, and I'm happy for these guys. Genuinely, they've taken their passion and turned it into a career, and at the time, that's what I wanted. But then when I no longer wanted that, my life shifted. My entire path shifted. My journey shifted. And I learned, why was I resentful? Like, they had worked their asses off to get there. Some luck, a lot of hard work, right place, right time. That's how life works. Right place, right time. Or right place, wrong time for some people, right? And so it became one of those things where you learn that life works for you. And even when it gives you what you want, once I started getting booked, I started getting called, I started getting a paycheck once in a while when I was working for WWE, all of the stuff that I had wanted, until I didn't anymore. And that was the hard part. I was getting the stuff that I wanted, but then I was always looking for that next level. Well, I'm here, but I don't have a contract. Okay, well, if I get the contract, well, now I have the contract, but now I'm back down here. And now I have to get to here. Now I have to get to here. Now I have to get to here. And that's fine for a lot of people. It gives you something to shoot for. Vince McMahon used to call it the imaginary brass ring or golden ring or whatever he called it, grabbing the rings. And there's always going to be another one. There's always going to be something. You could be at the top of your game and still want or desire something else, want something to look some certain way, want somebody to act or treat you a certain way. And so there's always something. Your mind is always trying to run to something else, and it's never allowing you to be in the moment. And when I started to learn how to be in the moment, I started to let go of the past. I started to let go of the future. I started to let go of the resentment that I was carrying towards these other guys. Because again, I'm working hard, but so are they. Right place, right time. Wrong place, wrong time. Or right place, wrong time, right? I was there, but no contract. Right place, wrong time. And so you get to the point of understanding when you're able to let go and you're able to shift your mindset into life is happening for me. What's the lesson in this experience? It feels like it's a bad experience. It feels like it's going sideways. It feels like it's not what I want it to be. But it's here. This is what it is. We can't change it. So let's learn from it. What's the lesson? My lesson was do it, pursue it, as long as you're passionate about it. And when my passion started to go away, when it felt like it was work, when I was no longer enjoying going to shows, when my body started breaking down and I started getting some bad injuries, it was time. What was the lesson? The lesson was this chapter is coming to an end. It's okay. You can't write a book with one long chapter. Many, many chapters. And sometimes more than one book, right? You have an entire series of books for your life, for your journey. So I had to learn. That was my lesson. I loved it. I spent 12 years doing it. I sacrificed a lot of other pieces to get to that point that I got to. I would never change it. But I also had to let go. And I had to learn to walk away when the time was right. And I've had opportunities to come back, and I've had that little itch. There's always that itch that's like, I want to get back in the ring. I want to perform. I want to put on a show. I want to play that character. But it's done. That chapter's closed, right? It's like watching a movie. And once you've gotten, an hour and a half into the movie saying, I'm going to go back 60 minutes and rewatch it from there. There's no point in going back, right? You learn the lessons, right? Once we get from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, we don't go back to 3rd grade. You don't go revisit the past. So when you let go, you let go. And sometimes opportunities come back around and sometimes they don't. And with wrestling, the door was closed. But I've been able to connect and still work with other professional wrestlers, have my foot kind of in that realm because I was a part of it for so long. So now that I do therapy, I can offer therapy and mindset advice and therapeutic recovery advice and helping for other professionals. And so resentment only hurts you. It ruins relationships. It makes your heart cold. It shuts you off to the world around you that is loving, healing, and full of joy. So let go of resentment, surrender yourself, and I will see you in next week's episode.